The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages we cover. This week we're starting off with John Moffett, Supervisor of Mendon. John, what's moving in Mendon?
Hi, Chris. We're moving into that type of season where we're getting into fall and the school tax bills are arriving in people's mailboxes. So I just want to remind everyone who lives in the town of Mendon, whether you are in the Honeoye Falls-Lima Central School District or the Pittsford Central School District, that you may make your payments at the Mendon Town Hall. If it is after hours, we do have a drop box on the West Main Street side of the road, and you can put your payment in that drop box and you will receive a receipt in the mail. Regarding school tax, I'm looking at the bill now, and there is a couple of things I wanted to bring to people's attention. First thing is that you're going to see that it says the assessor estimates your full market value at a certain price. While that is somewhat true, it is more the state that is making that qualification as to that number. Your taxes are still based on your assessed value, which is the number below it, and that is the number that you're currently assessed for. Below that, you'll see that the uniform value, which is 78%, so that's the equalization rate. So that affects your star or enhanced star if you qualify for one of those two things. So normally you get a discount based on star. If you're a longtime resident, if you're a short-term resident, you get a check in the mail for your star. And the star check, if you're getting it in the mail, is supposed to be coming from the state before your taxes are due. So the only thing I can say about this is I believe the state has tried to make it as complicated as possible. So if you have questions, feel free to call the assessor's office. We'll do our best to answer your questions, but it's not an easy thing to explain because different people fall into different situations, whether you have an advanced star, whether you have star, or whether or not you get the discount on your tax bill or whether you receive the check in the mail. So it gets a little complicated. So feel free to call the assessor's office. Also, on Monday, the 29th of August, make sure I'm looking at the right month, the town board did pass a moratorium on short-term rentals. So what that means is anybody who has a short-term rental, which previous to this, you could get with a special use permit, use of a short-term rental, and there are legal ones in the town of Mendon. Those are grandfathered in. There's nothing saying that the law is going to change, but this gives us an opportunity to more or less call a timeout, look at the various problems that we've encountered through residents' complaints regarding short-term rentals and commonly known as things like VRBO. So we're going to be looking at that over the next few months, and there is a seminar that's being put on by the Association of Towns at the end of September on this very subject. So we'll be attending that so that we have the latest information. We'll then review our law, which would require a public hearing if we're going to make any changes. So that'll take place over the next few months. Our town budget, we're working on that. I'll be presenting that on September 12th to the town board. At that point, the town board will review it for a couple of weeks. September 26th, our following meeting, the board will most likely move it to preliminary status with any possible changes. We will then schedule a public hearing, which will probably be October 17th, which gives the public an opportunity to come in and comment on the budget. And at that point, I would imagine traditionally we have adopted a final budget. So I encourage everybody to take a look at all this when it comes available. It'll be on our website. More than welcome to, we'd like your input, basically. Another big question, speeding. We have our speed monitors in the hamlet of Mendon, and we have had those out for a period of time. We are in the process of, I think just today, moved them over to Route 64, part of the hamlet of Mendon. So we are seeing some interesting things on speeds. And of course, we do share that information with the Sheriff's Department. But the good news is the overall speeds are not too bad. We had on Rush Mendon Road, we had a high of 65 and a 35. And over on the Mendon Victor Road side, I think our high again was 55 in a 35. But more often than not, people are staying within the speed limit, and maybe those monitors are helping them stay that way. So they are, I think, a good addition to various places around town, and we'll continue to move them. Another item is that we are scheduling our recycle rabies event for Saturday, October 15th from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. That'll be at the Highway Garage at 101 Semmel Road, and that's rain or shine. So we will, this will be our first rabies event. Our town clerk, Michelle Booth has scheduled this, first time we've ever had one for dogs and cats. So certainly contact Michelle at the town clerk's office if you have any questions. We will also have a truck there for shredding, on-site shredding. The Monroe County Sheriff's Department will be there for pharmaceutical collection, and we'll also have electronics collection that day. Lastly, brush pickup for the town of Mendon outside the village of Honeoye Falls will start on October 3rd. That will start on the east side of town and move west. It usually takes 2 to 3 weeks, but we like to give people as much advance notice as possible so that they can get their brush out timely. A lot, but thanks for your time.
All right, thanks, John. Rick, you're up next. What's happening in Honeoye Falls?
Well, it's great to see everybody. Appreciate the opportunity. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. I hope everyone is able to enjoy their long weekend. You know, this is a time we celebrate all those who work hard to keep our economy moving, which has been a challenge as of late, but we do appreciate all those who are out there working hard every day and doing their part. Couple things that are coming up. One thing I wanted to mention was on September 24th, a couple weekends from now, will be the Honeoye Falls-Lima Fall Festival Parade. The high school homecoming parade is on the 24th, Saturday. That's always a huge event here in the village, big parade, lots of participation, lots of athletic events going on, and then usually, you know, the alumni Hall of Fame inductions, etc. So keep that on your schedules. That's again, September 24th, Saturday. We're very excited in Honeoye Falls to see that and hear that Bleak House Books will be opening a new storefront on West Main Street in the village. This will be the open portion of West Main Street. That's the building where Body Works Needed is housed. And Pam and Sharon have worked very hard to look for other businesses or a person to use that open portion of their historic building. Bleak House Books was originally a thriving store in Hong Kong. And I hope that the Sentinel will pick up on their interesting story. It really is an interesting tale, but we're very excited to have this great family and now a new business coming into the village, and we welcome them. I don't have an opening date or anything like that. I know this was just recently announced, but we certainly look forward to having that storefront opened and used, and what a great opportunity. Of course, this coming week, school will be reopening for all of our students. That'll be happening in the next few days. So, let's wish all the students and faculty a great year, a safe year. But let's be extra careful watching students walking to school, crossing the streets, getting on the buses each morning. I wanted to give John and his team kudos on their, I'll say, publication or presentation on a diagram of where you should be stopping for school buses. And quite honestly, I'll tell John, I'm going to plagiarize that. I'm going to copy that and put it on our village website as well, because it was very, very well done. Great picture and diagram. But, it's important. This past week, kind of moving into a little bit of a county thing here, but I was happy to stand with the administration and fellow legislators, as well as some school officials, to pass the new Monroe County law for the school bus stop arm camera law. And that is going to allow every school district in Monroe County, outside of the city, but every school district in Monroe County can opt into a program that where cameras will be placed on that stop arm that comes out when the school buses stop. And this will video or take a picture of anyone who goes by a stopped school bus illegally. This will not cost the county or the school districts a penny. This is being done through a company that, there's a couple companies that do this, but this will be done where the pictures will then go into a file. They get reviewed by an individual, and then if it's shown that the person driving the car did indeed pass a stopped school bus with its lights, stop sign out, lights flashing, etc., that will then be sent to the authorities, where a $250 fine will be initiated. It's interesting that, and I'm looking at my numbers here, 50,000 people pass stop school buses every single day in the United States. 50,000. 19,000 students throughout the country are injured getting on or off a school bus. And while school buses are extremely safe, the students crossing the street to get on or off the bus, that's one of the most dangerous areas because of people not stopping and waiting for the students to pass. So I think this is a really important law. I was happy to be part of that. Again, we just have to be really, really careful for our students that are going to school each and every day moving forward. A couple of other things, things that are still on our docket with the county, and I've mentioned this before, but I want to mention it again. We have the reappointment of Mike Mendoza coming up for vote. We have the public defender's appointment coming up, and there's been a lot of discussion on the large project for the improvements to the Seneca Park Zoo. I've said this before, but I just want to mention again, for those who are in District 5, I would love to hear from you what your thoughts are on these things. You can email me at legislatormilne@gmail.com. That's legislatormilne@gmail.com. If you're in the 5th District, or even if you're not, I'd love to hear your opinion on these things. Because again, I represent the 5th District, and I want to hear from members of the 5th District. Lastly, I was happy to have office hours in the town of Rush this past week. Had a great conversation with Supervisor Jerry, but I appreciate any kind of input on that. I was at the Mendon Public Library last month. We'll be in Pittsford later this month, and then Henrietta, and then we'll circle back again. But I try to have these office hours. I'd love to hear from people. I'd love to hear your input on any concerns that are county related, and certainly as mayor here in the village, anything that's village related as well. So with that, Chris, again, thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Mike, how's life in Lima?
Life in Lima is sunny and bright, and we're in September now, my favorite month of the year. On Thursday, the 1st of September, the Lima Town Hall hosted the Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council meetings. This 9-county council is responsible for federal and state grant administration to local municipalities, provides planning services and plan review, assists municipalities with their clean energy communities and climate smart communities programs, assists with broadband acquisition, offers semi-annual training for planning boards, zoning boards, code enforcement officers, and other officials. The fall local government workshop is going to be at the Del Lago Resort and Casino in the town of Tyre, Seneca County on November 3rd. This is the planning, zoning, code enforcement, and local officials section. There was a dearth of training during COVID, and the one that was back in the spring was extremely well attended over at GCC in Batavia. So now shifting across the spectrum to the other side, that's when that's going to be. The program should be out and published mid-September, so folks can see what's going to be available as far as the training goes. If you have questions about the Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council, I am one of the representatives from Livingston County that sits on both the board there and its executive board. And feel free to contact me about anything to do with them. And so a message for those who have served. So you've been out a while. That feeling of being part of the team, working on something bigger than yourself, knowing that it was mission first, and that feeling, it never goes away. Deep down, it is still there. It's calling you. I know because I am you. I was there, and I know that calling never really leaves, so I am here to encourage you to do something good with it. There are many others just like you who all need the same thing. Veterans need someone to listen. Someone who was there, someone who will understand what they're talking about when they share their experiences. The folks that understand, they're just like you. Locally, we have a VFW, we have a couple of Legion posts. Those places are there primarily to help start those conversations. They are loaded with people who have been there and who understand and who went through the exact same stuff that you did. They hauled half barrels of human waste laced with jet fuel into the burn pits and dumped it for months at a time. They are the people, a couple of guys from the VFW unit who were shot, who survived it, and now we can talk about it, but with other vets. Consider a test drive of one of those groups, a check-in, just to see if it's for you. Don't have to join, come out, see what it's like. As I was, I bet you will be surprised how well you fit in. If you are curious about these opportunities, give me a call here at the Lima Town Hall, 582-1130. I will meet you wherever, whenever. We've got a couple of veteran-owned restaurants here in Lima, Johnny B's and the American Hotel. Great places to go and just have a quick chat. When you join up to help other vets, they will be there for you too. And that's all I've got, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Mike. John, Rick, anything more to add?
Just a great message, Mike. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for being part of today's show. Thank you all out there in wherever you are, Etherland, for watching the show. We're here every Sunday at 1 a.m. on our Facebook page. You like the page. When the show airs, you'll be notified. If you prefer YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And when the show airs there at 1 o'clock on Sunday, you'll be notified for that too. With that, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.